Hey, it's Tim Brown, and once again, we've got Lee Gall and Jarrett Thomas on the podcast because they're awesome. How you guys doing?
Doing good.
Doing well. Yeah.
So,
how are you, man?
I'm doing well. I really liked what you were saying about you guys weren't on LinkedIn before, but now you're pretty gung ho. And even though our audience on the podcast is contractors, we're going to be talking to people on LinkedIn too. And people should be on LinkedIn. It's a very relevant strategy if you do anything in commercial construction. If you do anything where networking and referrals are important, and you guys are getting leads from LinkedIn, we're getting leads from LinkedIn. Why are you now gung ho about LinkedIn, and what have you learned from the past 6 months?
Yeah. So let me start with this because I think that Jarrett probably has a lot more sort of concrete stuff to talk about. But as a bit of an origin story, when Jarrett and I first started working together, one of the things that really got me excited about working with him is he said, I want to get online. I want to, get on LinkedIn and I want to start creating content. And I was like, I really do too. Mm-hmm. And when we ended up working together, it was like a week or so into it. And we were talking and saying, we got to do it. And then one day I just was like, we were talking about all this stuff and we should have been recording it. So I got out my camera on my phone and I was like, look, let's just record this. And we recorded it. It's kind of that Gary V type of philosophy. It's like, don't talk about it. Just do it. Just make content. And so that's just what we did. We'd be sitting there. We'd just be talking. And Jared would be like, we got to do a post. And so we would just like stop talking, get out the phone, record, and we would make it a post. And
And his thing is document, don't create. If you think you have to get ready and do all this scripting and stuff like that, maybe you're doing the wrong kind of content. Because if I hear somebody reading something scripted and it's really obvious, sometimes it turns me off too. But if you talk about something you're passionate about and talk about something that's real, people will eat that up. And it's okay to share struggles. It's also okay to share wins on LinkedIn. And to me, LinkedIn is like the hustle community.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I love LinkedIn.
Love it.
For that reason.
Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah, me too.
Even more, some deeper context. Like the biggest things for me, like, all right, of course, as a salesman, I'm thinking of why do I want to go online? How do I expose my brand? How do I get into contacts that I can do business with without having to send some cold emails, right? And so the whole thing was, right, how do I break down the sales barrier? How do I just become a person, right? So we just started posting about normal things. And like you said, storytelling is my big thing. So I told them stories about how I failed, numerous different jobs and how I got to iPool Rank and closed a big, huge deal. Or how do I get in the industry when I, had my child, and how did I get into the digital market? What obstacles did I have to overcome? And that's the things that people champion. People want to say, oh man, that's a really cool story. He overcame a lot. Then they want to talk with you. They'll DM you. Loved your story, man. So motivating, inspiring. You got people from Australia, Africa, England, you name it, just saying like your inspiration, Jared. And I'm just a dude from the Bronx who's working at iPool Rank, who just knows digital marketing, but it's especially for your audience, contractors, roofers, you need to be telling people, right, what do you do and what you're passionate about, right? Put yourself out there. Just create a video about some of the problems that your prospects are having, right? They need something on their roof. What is the common misconception about roofing, right? How can you show them how to do it? Show some DIY stuff so you become the trusted voice. So when they do need that service, they're going to come to you.
And some of this stuff does apply to Facebook, where I see a lot of our contractors and roofers that they spend more time. I see it applied to them, and some of them know that. But the thing is, on LinkedIn, the algorithm is earlier, like the sorting algorithm. Facebook has got it down. They will force you to pay. So if you're on Facebook, you got to use your own personal Facebook to promote your stuff, which is a lot to ask for, unless you're the business owner. You know what I mean? Maybe you're interested in doing that, but otherwise that's a lot to ask. I'm about to put my whole personal life, which Facebook was, into this. But a lot of those contractors are doing that. But still, the algorithm does not favor commercial intent on Facebook.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't favor this kind of like content that's made by businesses and that kind of thing. LinkedIn still allows that, especially if you leverage your personal page. And especially if you're also interacting a lot with other people. That's a concept for all social, that you have to interact to win. It's not just about promoting your own thing. But LinkedIn's earlier on the algorithm, so it's almost a little easier to get a lot of eyeballs. And if you have commercial, if you're gonna, you want to build some office buildings, if you want to be in front of people in that way for contractors, they could be doing that on LinkedIn. They could be getting a lot more eyeballs more easily, especially if they're open to video, because video on LinkedIn, dude, people will watch that. Dude, did you guys see that post I did this past Friday about like how many, a whole day worth of minutes that people watched one video I did last week?
I did see that.
Like it was actually ridiculous. A whole day, 24 hours of people watching a 1 minute video. So that means a lot of people watch. It's just nuts to me.
That is crazy.
Yeah.
But
it's
just
crazy.
to piggyback off your point too, Tim, right? The reason why, your audience should be going after LinkedIn because they're content deficient on LinkedIn, right? So there's 600 million users, right? But
that's good.
Only 2% actually post on there, right?
Yep.
So most people are afraid to get in the game because it's like what we all think. How do I make myself look good? How do I make my brand stand out? And then you end up not getting in the pool. You have to jump in the water.
Good.
You have to jump in the water, right? You tweak it as you go, but then before you know it, with some consistency, you just go. And some tips and tricks, right? So when you do post, it's something called dwell time, right? So within the first hour you make a post, that's when you need to get the engagement, right? You need to get at least 5 comments as they tweak the algorithm recently.
Yep.
And that helps you get to the next, set of eyeballs and second.
That's good. And you can tap your team if you don't notice that I do that. You can tap your team to comment. And if I throw it in Slack, I say comment.
Have to. Your team should be your engagement pod. I don't like the engagement pod thing.
Yeah.
It's kind of corny, but like me and Lee, if you're on iPull rank, go like my content, man. So your people can see my content and we get more eyeballs. Name the brand.
Team up.
Yeah. Team up.
Yeah. It's like, so there's a story I want to tell. I went, really about a week before things started to shut down. I went to a small business class. So it's basically, how do you start your own business, and just some free resources through the city. Mm-hmm. And during that course, there was a guy who raised his hand. He's like, I'm an exterminator. And I was talking with somebody, and they said that I shouldn't be using social media because the business that I'm in, it just wouldn't work. And so I found him after the class. I was like, I don't know who told you that or what, but don't listen to that.
The lie detector determined that was a lie.
Yeah, exactly. And so I was like, get on LinkedIn. I said,
I can't think of one exterminator that I've seen on there, but if they were the exterminator that I knew that shared useful tips about how to do this, then they would be the one exterminator that I knew. So like the fact that all your competitors aren't there is sometimes like an opportunity.
And he said, he was like, and he gave me his card, and he was like the critter cop or something like that, I'm like, oh my God, how many different videos could you make about that? Or people would be like, look, people don't hire exterminator because they're like, oh, really? He uses FDA approved equipment, and nobody cares about that. They want to see you being like, hey, I'm the critter cop, and these cops, they're under arrest. You're like, that's who am I going to call, right? It was like my accountant.
I love it.
The guy, my accountant is a guy named Steven Zellen, the singing CPA. And when I was living in Canada, and I was about to come down to the U.S. to start work and to get an apartment and stuff, and I'm like, I need an accountant. So I went online, and guess who the accountant I used was? It's Steven, because he sings. And he sings songs about taxes and, all this stuff. And it's like, well, I'm sure he's a CPA, just like any other CPA. So what's the difference? He's interesting. He has content. He sings. Like, that's all it took for me to be like, who am I going to choose? The person who I think is interesting. And so, everyone can be interesting if you find the right thing to focus on. And any business should be on social. And I really think especially, and we all agree that LinkedIn is like especially right now, it's a diamond in the rough.
Hitting a stride.
It's easy. Yeah. Like, I go on there, I post a topic, I add a couple of hashtags, like, a lot of times they're trending. And like when Jarrett and I would do stuff, it would be trending. And like, that goes to show the competition is not really all that high. Because like Jarrett said, 2% of people are posting on there.
They're too scared. People are too scared. That's why you shouldn't, like, if the obstacle is the way. The fact that everyone is scared to do it means you should run and do it.
Absolutely.
And like you said, like you just have to be interesting. To be interesting, be interested in other people too. Like if you're curious, I'm insatiably curious on LinkedIn. I want to know what you're up to. I want to know what you liked about the thing. I want to know what you think. And I'm going to include your thoughts in my next thing. Like I'm ready. I'm curating. I'm bringing people together, because if I have different perspectives, like let's say in a piece of content, when I ask a question, that's a great way to get engagement, first of all, but it's also a great way to then include those hot takes of other people in your content. So it's not just one guy. I don't care that much about what one guy says. I care about like what the whole, I want to know the outlook. I want to know what I want to know what my network in general is thinking. And I curate that. And then I link back to their website. I'm adding value to their website. I'm linking to them. And then I'm also getting a much better piece of content, because I'm just one guy's perspective and I do not know it all. And I'm grateful that I can curate stuff and add value, because I've spent a lot of time on making our website authoritative. But everyone could do that. Even if they did the article on LinkedIn, everyone loves getting tagged in something and feeling like they got to contribute to a piece of content. And it doesn't take you but a minute or two to make a comment, and you can add value, and you can add. One thing I learned is so good last year. I did Seth Godin's Alt MBA, and one thing that people did really well in that thing was ask really good questions. Like they'd ask a question, like some of it led to we have like a tagline that's champion the underdog at Hook Agency. And one thing that led to that, it was questions. It was really good questions. Like even like ones that I hated the question. It was like, what's the point? Why are you doing what you're doing? And I'm like, I don't know, dude. I'm trying to make money. I'm trying to make a business. I like trying to get some employees. Like, I don't know, like the painfulness of those questions though. Yeah. Painfulness of those questions really dug deep and made me really rethink my life a little bit. And like a good question can help somebody really progress towards their dreams. So like, don't underestimate a good question.
And don't underestimate pain.
Yeah.
And the source of pain, and really understanding, it's great that you brought that up, because the question that annoyed you the most is probably the one that you should really pause and consider the most. Yeah. Because you got to think like, why am I feeling this way? Why am I feeling some type of way about this one question?
Yeah.
What is it about that that's pushing me, that's making me want to say, no, that's stupid, or like, it's embarrassing, I don't even want to think about it. Like, you better stop and think about it.
Yeah.
When somebody asks a question, you're like, oh yeah, I was thinking that same question. Well, move on. You already thought it. But the time when somebody's like really pushing you, and it bothers you, that's a time to learn and to investigate, and like that's how you grow, and that's how you get better.
Agreed. Yeah. You guys have any last little tactical things for people on LinkedIn before we go here? Any other like, hey, this is how you get some engagement? Video for sure. Questions.
Yeah. Video definitely, but when you do video, make sure you have your transcriptions, make sure you have borders, make sure you make it pop, because people are going to scroll right past it. So make sure you're fully optimized there.
That's good.
And just dare to be different. Like I said, my biggest piece of content sometimes are me asking a question and not acting like I'm the thought leader. Right. Yeah. What are you guys seeing on your end, or in terms of social media? What's been working? What's been working with the algorithm? Have you seen it decrease like this and things like that? But be yourself. Mm-hmm. It's the things that are super authentic and real to me. If I think of or post it and I'm like, damn, is that too real? That's the gold.
It usually goes good.
That's the gold.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. People do need to, like, if they get on there and just promote themselves just as a promotion every time, they're not going to experience what we're talking about.
Yeah,
they're not going to experience the good engagement. It's just not going to happen if you just sit on there and go, by the way, I need business. Somebody refer me business. I'm not going to lie. You can throw one of those out every once in a while, but it's not going to get you the engagement that you're hoping for. So
yeah. And if you're looking to really engage with other people on a platform, it doesn't really matter what it is, but LinkedIn is the example for sure. Yeah, it's important when you create content to also engage with other people's content, but please don't just go, great post, Jared. Couldn't have said it any better myself.
Yeah.
Shit, I feel called out, man. I might have said that exact same thing on Jared's post.
Well, stop it.
Yes, try to thoughtfully actually respond to people's stuff. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, you get more and more likes sometimes and more connections of a posting on like Gary Vee or Dave Gerhardt. Shout out to Dave and a few other people I post on. And those are the most times I get connections. But just be a person. I act like it would be on Instagram. Even though it's a business platform, people think this you're supposed to be suited up, buttoned up, and with a tie to post on LinkedIn. That is far from the truth. Be yourself, add emojis, man. I say laugh out loud. I'm doing the cry emojis on CMO's pages. I don't give a shit. And they end up hitting me up like, yo, one thing I like about Jared, he's authentic.
Yeah.
He's giving me the real, and
I say shit.
Be yourself.
I say fuck on LinkedIn.
Love it.
I'm not gonna lie, like if that's you, be you.
Be you, man.
I mean, if you work for a corporation, obviously not, but no one's gonna be listening to this unless a guest's on LinkedIn. Man, it's weird. We have like 20, 30 people from Target look at my posts on LinkedIn sometimes, and I'm like, guys, not you. This is not for you. This is.
I like Target.
I like Target.
Stay buttoned up.
I like Target a lot.
Yeah, I like Target too. We have Target corporate in our town, so like I think that people at that I used to go to school with or whatever, a bunch of them work at Target. But yeah, guys, it's been really good. I think no matter who you are, LinkedIn is actually popping right now. It's a great place to find people to hustle with. It's a great place to find people to make content with. It's the algorithm is a little easy on us at the moment.
Yeah.
It's better than Facebook's algorithm. Yeah, I know it will. They'll get better and they'll stuff it down. But there's a apprehension to post, and that's why it's going to stay good for quite a while. That people don't want to post, and we can get a little bit more attention on there. And you should be looking for deals on attention. You should be looking for, if attention is the name of the game, and I'm pretty sure it is. Should be looking for deals on attention and try to add value where there's you're capable.
Absolutely.
That's it. You hit the nail on the head, Tim.
If content is king, then engagement is queen.
Yes. And I want to give you guys another opportunity here to just share where people can find you online, if you don't mind.
Yes, LinkedIn, Jared Thomas, Senior Account Executive, iPull Rank. Feel free to DM me or go to the iPull Rank site. We have a ton of content, ebooks, webinars. Please be on the lookout for Atomic SEO and Rankable events. So, Tim, thanks for having us, bro. It's
absolutely,
a pleasure, man.
Absolutely, man. Yeah. And for me, you can catch me outside on LinkedIn at Legal. You can find me on Twitter at Legal. It's LEEGAUL. I'm more like a Twitter comedian than a business person on there, but you can find me anyway.
Perfect.
And then on LinkedIn, come and find me, talk to me. I'm always interested in engaging with other people and kind of learning what you're all about. I'm looking at new opportunities and evaluating things right now. And if you want to get in touch, please do.
Awesome. And I'm Tim Brown, and this podcast is put on by Hook Agency, hookagency.com, and Hook Agency on social. Thanks for listening, and talk to you guys next week. Bye.
Thanks, Tim.
Thank you.
Appreciate you.